In Japanese, nakiri translates to vegetable cutter or leaf cutter, and there really couldn't have been a better name for a knife with this shape of blade. So whether you're vegan, vegetarian, or you just love your veggies, a nakiri is definitely a knife that you're gonna wanna have in your collection. What's up, y'all? I'm Chef Brandon with Cutlery and More, and I love knives. I have over 90 in my collection, 3 of which are Nakiri. And in this video, I'm gonna share with you the characteristics of a Nakiri knife, show you how to use every part of the blade using different cutting techniques, and show you one of my favorite non-chopping tips that you can do with the Nakiri knife that will make your workflow smooth and fast. The reason a Nakiri knife is so perfect for fruits and vegetables all has to do with the shape of this blade. This mini cleaver-esque type of shape gives you a lot of precision and stability when you're working with different products that have different levels of firmness. So whether you're working with a sweet potato or an onion or a mushroom, the Nakiri is going to get the job done. As you can see, all 3 of these Nakiri knives have a rectangular shape with a slight curve at the tip and an angle downwards right here. Now, some more traditional Nakiri knives have a completely straight edge, but what's great about the ones that have a slight curve at the top here is it allows you to get into a nice flow if you want to do that European style rock chop or go into the cross chop or mincing position. But since a lot of the knife does lie pretty flush with the cutting board, it's also phenomenal for push chopping or tap chopping. Even though there is a slight curve to the tip of a Nakiri, the surface area is pretty flush to your cutting board. So when it comes to using the very tip of the blade in a tap chop, the Nakiri does a great job. Sometimes it throws your mushrooms around. Depending on the finish, it works either way. Whenever you're doing this European style rock chop, you basically keep the tip of the knife on the cutting board, and then you're just kind of rocking and pushing and rolling through the product. And you're using generally the back part to the mid part of the blade. And the workflow tip that allows a Nakiri to act like a bench scraper. Put it down as flush to the cutting board as possible and just push your product up onto it. And then that can go right into your dish or into your mise en place container. For now, we're just gonna put it over here. Now for your push chop, where you're just basically going down into the product like that, the Nakiri is fantastic. Again, put your blade down, slide it up, and you can move it wherever you need to. Now you can always do a push chop with an onion, go a little bit slower at your own pace, or you can do the tap chop. So stop right here. Notice that this is like the highest point of the onion and it's getting thinner, which means that once you get a few more chops in, it's gonna be basically really unstable. So all you have to do is push this down and then start from the other side. And again, instead of using a bench scraper, put the knife down on its side, push the product up on it, and then you can transfer it wherever you need. And last but not least, the Nakiri is phenomenal for cross chopping or mincing. Quick tip before I get going on this. This cilantro about an hour ago was pretty wilted and just blah. And it was because I was filming another video earlier. I had it out and I had to bring it back to life. So what you can do with parsley and cilantro is put it into a bowl of ice water, let it sit for about 15 minutes, and it brings it back to life. So for the cross chop or mincing, you're gonna pinch the base of the blade, you're gonna pinch the very tip of the spine, and you're either going to seesaw or pivot. Whenever you have cilantro like this, when it's bunched up, just give it a couple rough chops and you can see that it quickly comes down closer to the cutting board. Bring it back together. And now you can pinch both ends and pivot to mince or just rough chop your fresh herbs. Also, visualize a giant pile of garlic here with this knife. It is a complete breeze. I just don't eat giant piles of garlic anymore because I taste it for like 4 days. But cilantro all day long. Interesting fact about cilantro, about 14% of the population thinks that cilantro tastes like soap. Now, I have a theory behind this, and the theory is that a lot of soaps are made with lavender essential oil. Well, one of the individual aroma compounds called a terpene found in lavender is called linalool. Well, it just so happens that cilantro is really high in linalool. So you think linalool to lavender to soap, cilantro, it's all connected. Ooh, did you see that? How I use the flat front end to clean off my finger. Another keeps your flow going type of tip. And you can also use the back of the spine here to move product around on the cutting board if you don't want to drag your knife on the board and dull your edge. Speaking of dulling your knives, Japanese steel, like this Enso is made with, is much harder than a lot of other steels. So the harder the steel, the harder it is to sharpen. But if you hone your edge before and after every use, you will help maintain the sharpness of your steel. So it's going to last you a lot longer. And then whenever you're ready to have your knife sharpened, we can take care of you here at Cutlery and More. So there you have it, folks, the Nakiri knife. So whether you're vegan, vegetarian, or a diehard carnivore that occasionally likes your food, if you love prepping and cooking veggies, then a Nakiri knife is definitely one that you need in your collection. I'm Chef Brandon with Cutlery and More. Thanks so much for joining. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Nakiri knife is and what knife you'd like us to cover next. Cheers.